Have you ever wondered what the profile and demographics are for a home buyer? Who is most likely to buy a home and why? And what about the age category and how much market share they currently represent? Let's talk about it. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. My name is Andrei with the Medow Group and we service Ottawa and surrounding areas, all things real estate. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification for upcoming content. And don't forget to smash that like button. And if you'd like to book a one-on-one call with me to chat more about the market, there's a link in the description below. Born between 1980 and 2000, Canada's millennials number about 10 million and are actively changing the consumer landscape. Today, they are aged from 26 to 41 years young and are known to be as the trendsetters. They've embraced online shopping and social media and have been called the connected generation, with their power to influence younger and older generations. Millennials are also so committed to buying homes and are prepared to leave the country's biggest cities in order to find a home that they can actually afford. This according to a recent survey by Royal LePage. About 60% of those millennials are looking to get out of the rental market or their parents' basements despite the high real estate prices. But 53% of that group said they are willing to relocate if they had to. Interesting. Even though Canada's housing market has cooled and currently going through a correction, the larger urban markets remain out of reach for would-be buyers who just don't have enough money put away for a down payment or who can earn too little to qualify for the current high-interest mortgages. The demand for smaller cities and remote work spiked during COVID and it looks like it will continue at least for now. A study by Royal LePage suggests that 4 million young Canadians will be looking to make a move between now and 2027. Let's take a look at some of their findings specifically for Ottawa. 6 in 10 non-homeowner millennials in Canada believe they will one day own a home, but half say they will have to relocate. Royal LePage survey. Here are some of the survey highlights. So 72% of millennials in Canada would choose to continue living in their current city or town if the cost of living was not an issue. 40% of millennials in Canada say they would change employers to be able to fully work remotely. Top motivators include the cost and time associated with commuting. 68% of non-homeowner millennials in Canada say that owning a home is important to them. And nationally, more than 4 million millennials, about 51%, say they plan to purchase a home within the next 5 years. Here is the actual survey and questions that were asked. I think it's important we take a look at what was asked, what the options for the answer was, and of course we will concentrate on Ottawa answers. So the first question of the survey was, what is your current housing situation? 53% in Ottawa said I own a home, 40% said I rent, and 7% said I live with family or friends rent-free, and a small percentage said they prefer not to answer. Moving on, of those who do not own, is owning a home important to you? Of course, 69% said yes, but also a whopping 25% said no. Now that could be for a number of reasons. Obviously, the market is quite difficult right now. Yes, it's going through a change, but it's still a very expensive market, and I think that can discourage a lot of the millennials that plan on getting into the market. Do you believe you will ever own a home? 25% said yes, 29% said yes, but I would need to relocate, and 33% said no. So back to that thinking of I'm not ready for the market or I can't afford the market, I'll probably never own a home. If the cost of living was not an issue, would you choose to continue living in your current city? 70% in Ottawa said yes, 24% said no. Do you plan to purchase a home within the next 5 years? 33% said yes, I plan to purchase my first home. 17% said I already own a home but plan to move. 35% said no. So again, the numbers are kind of split 1 and 3 for yes and no answers so far. Of those planning to buy their first home or sell their current home and move within the next 5 years, do you plan to buy in your current city or do you plan to relocate? 54% said remain in current city for Ottawa. 35% said relocate. Again, that is just a huge number of people that are willing to change cities to be able to afford a home. And to be honest, that makes a lot of sense. Something else to add, and that is millennials approach home buying differently than older generations. They have an obsession with online browsing, including their own preferences for what they want in a home, and expect to rely on a process from start to finish that is shown to them. So this is where the results of the survey can seem so different in terms of a yes or no reply. Millennials are also the fastest growing segment of home buyers and make up an even bigger share of first-time home buyers in today's market. Would you change employers to be able to work fully remote? 54% in Ottawa said yes, 34% said no. 12% said I would prefer not to answer. As your career progresses, do you believe your salary will increase at a rate that will allow you to purchase a home in your current city? 36% in Ottawa said yes. 45% said no, and 19% didn't want to answer. What would be your ideal work-life scenario? So we're going to take a look at the results for the biggest percentages. So we have 27% live outside the city, work fully remote. And I think this has really been the trend the last couple of years, especially during COVID, where that opportunity kind of started. And I think going forward, regardless of the offices pushing back to the office workplace, a lot of the people still would prefer to work at home. Last question of the surveys, what are your top 3 motivators for wanting to work remotely, partly or fully? 23% in Ottawa said the long commute, the time and traffic, and of course the biggest one, 28%, no surprise, the commuting costs, gas, parking, public transit. It's just been very expensive for everybody in the city. What do you think? Are you surprised that this generation is willing to pack up and move to a smaller, more affordable city? Are we going to see more of out-of-towner buyers coming into our market and taking advantage of our current prices and homes? After all, they're still much less expensive than the bigger markets. Looks like millennials need a lot of attention and information in terms of how the home buying process works, and will heavily rely on the internet for this. Drop your comments below. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.